If you landed on this video, it's probably because you realized that the online coaching industry has become just a tad bit problematic. And in this video, I'm going to expose just how problematic it is. I did a focus group and I interviewed over 50 online coaches, consultants, online service providers about their experience working with coaches for coaches. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what they had to say.
I attract money, wealth is in my reach. I got everything I want and everything I need. I keep my mind open, abundance overflows. I budget right and I know where all my money goes. I am debt free and money works for me. Money in my sleep, a magnet for prosperity. Ain't nothing wrong with that, I deserve a bit.
What up, Kingdom Builders? Welcome back to my channel. I am Ebony Evaughn, your favorite business coach in these internet streets. I coach corporate professionals and first-time entrepreneurs on how to turn their skills, their talents, and expertise into profitable online businesses. Welcome to Soul Struggle Land. This is my internet home where I help you to go from confused to the ethical, cash generating boss that we both know you are meant to be. And in today's video, I am exposing the online coaching industry and all the problems that come with these online coaching programs, online courses, and what people really feel. So over the course of 2 months, back in September and October, I ended up conducting 3 focus groups and interviewing over 50 online course creators, online coaches, online service providers about their experience working with coaches for coaches. So these are the coaches that actually help other online coaches, consultants, course creators to grow their business, to grow on social media, to get more clients, and all of those things. And so the reason why I wanted to do this focus group in the first place is because for the last 3 years, since probably 2018, I have primarily focused on my lunch accelerator that helps other corporate professionals actually start online businesses from scratch. And over the course of that time, I've helped a lot of people either through my accelerator program or just from one-off master classes and different, workshops that I used to teach throughout the years. And so over the past year or so, I've had so many of my previous clients or people that came to some of my master classes or workshops that I used to do back in the day, and they were like, Ebony, I'm looking for one-on-one coaching. Can you please take me on as a client, book a session? Or do you have a 3-month coaching program, a 6-month package? I need one-on-one attention. And at the time, I wasn't offering any private coaching. I only had my group coaching program. And so I started to think about why are all these people asking for one-on-one coaching? There has to be something missing. There has to be some type of void or something going on. And so I need to look into this so I can see, maybe I need to create a program that can fill that void. And so I decided that after all these years of only doing my lunch accelerator, where I was helping new entrepreneurs to actually start their businesses, I was going to create a program for existing coaches who, needed extra guidance and support to grow their business in whatever capacity, right? So I started doing these focus groups, and y'all, the coaching industry has become way more problematic than I ever thought it was. So in this video, I'm going to get into the exact results and the feedback that I got from these sessions. But before I get into the questions and the responses, I do want to say that this video is not to bash anyone. I'm not going to use any names. I did promise all the participants in the study that, they could remain anonymous. It would be confidential. I would not expose any of the actual coaches or course creators, and I'm not going to expose any of the participants in the program that actually provided this feedback to me. Now, if any of them want to come in the comments and be like, yep, I said that, this is how I felt, that is on them. They are free to do that, but I will not be breaching the confidentiality that I have with them. Okay. All right. So to get into this, let me grab my clipboard. I first want to start off by just explaining the requirements for the participants in the focus group studies, so you kind of understand where they were, and the background for the participants. So in order to participate in this focus group, they had to, number one, be some type of service provider. So this is someone, even though they may sell physical products, the primary way that they make money in their business is through providing some type of service. Either they are actually providing a service like image consulting, copywriting, or they're doing some type of consulting or coaching, or they have online courses that they do sell for profit, okay? So they had to be an online service provider. They had to be an existing coach that has been in business 18 months or less. They had to have previously invested in at least one coaching program or course with a value of at least $1,000 or more. And for the majority of the people that participated in the study, most of them had purchased like more than one course that was valued at $1,000 or more. More than one course or coaching program valued at $1,000 or more. They also had to have an audience of at least 100 people. They had to have a validated skill set and a validated offer, meaning that their offer is something that they had already sold before and they had a proof of concept. And then last but not least, it had to be willing to participate in these focus group calls. So those were the requirements in order to participate in the focus groups. And now I want to get into the questions and the responses that I received during these focus group sessions. So I pretty much asked on average 7 or 8 questions. In this video, I'm going to share the top 5 questions that I asked in every single focus group session. In some sessions, I may have asked additional questions or more questions just based on the response. So if someone made a response and it made me think of a question, it's like, tell me more about that. Well, this. So sometimes I did ask follow-up questions, but because I didn't ask them in all of the sessions, I'm not going to go into those responses in this video. But I am going to cover the top 5 questions that I did ask in every single focus group. And then I'm also going to share the responses. So some of the responses I did consolidate because a lot of times people would have the same answer. They just said it a different way. So I kind of summarized those with just one response instead of having the same kind of answer over and over again, just said a different way. All right, so with that being said, let's get into question number 1. So the first question that I asked in the focus group was pretty much just their experience of like what type of program they participated in. Most of them participated in online courses or coaching programs where they were basically teaching you how to make money online, how to start your business, how to scale your business, how to grow your audience on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, how to get to 10K followers. So everyone that participated in these studies participated in one or more of those type of programs. All right, so the first question is, what didn't you like about your experience in your program or course? And so the answer that came up a lot over and over again in every single session was a lack of access to the coach or expert. And so for some people, this meant like, hey, I was promised that this person was going to be there to give me step-by-step guidance. But once they actually participated or once they actually joined the program, they really didn't have a lot of access to the coach either at all or not as much as they expected to have. So one thing that came up with a few of the people in the responses was a lot of people actually have a personal brand where I am the face of the company, but once you actually pay your money and you think that you're going to be able to work with this person, they realize that they were actually working with someone on their team or like a junior coach or an assistant coach. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I get it from a coaching perspective. If you want to be able to scale a coaching business, at some point you're going to have to hire additional coaches in order to scale your business, right? But I think where it becomes really problematic is when there's no transparency there. So like if you watch my video where I talked about my celebrity business video about Portia, and I talked about having a personal brand, if you are someone that has a personal brand, people are going to expect to work with you because you're the face of the brand. So that's like if I was advertising, my business name is Social Republic, but let's say that I was advertising all of my services as Ebony Evaughn, right? And so when you work with me, I'm introducing myself as Ebony Evaughn. When you go to my website, it's 𝗛𝗲𝗋𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 my strategy of how I can help you to grow your business. And I'm saying, hey, sign up to work with me and I will help you do this. Like, you think that you're going into a partnership, an agreement with me, Ebony Evaughn, in order to grow your business. But once you actually pay your money and join me in the program, it's like, oh nah, I was just doing the webinar. Like, I don't got time to actually coach you. Here's Erica. Erica's going to be the person that actually helps you grow your business, right? So a lot of people talked about having that experience to where people kind of advertise their programs as a personal brand, as you're getting access to them and being able to work with them personally, but you're actually working with someone else on their team. So just if you are doing that, I just think it needs to be transparency there that says, hey, my team will help you do this, instead of saying me, as if everything in the business, people are going to have access to you and they don't. All right. So another response was, there was a lot of people that complained about over promising and under delivering. So basically, people who sell you these big pipe dreams and say you're going to be able to build your course in 60 days. And then most of the people, it takes them a year or longer to actually be able to go through all the steps. And I'm exaggerating, saying a year. But, it takes them longer than the 60 days that was advertised to actually get to their results. So that's something to keep in mind. Even if you are a coach yourself, you want to make sure that if you're saying, hey, I can get you this result in this specific time period, that you are actually able to get people to that result in the time frame that you're advertising. Something else that came up was advice was too generic to use. So there was a lot of people that complained about getting a lot of regurgitated information that you can find in a blog post or YouTube videos, and not just really specific detailed information that will actually help them get to their result. There was a lot of programs that just had the what to do, is what I like to call it, instead of actually how to do it. So if someone is telling you, oh, like, you need to grow your audience, a great way to do that is use webinars. So they're telling you use webinars to build your audience and generate leads fast, but they don't actually walk you through what you need to do in order to actually put together a webinar and to deliver your webinar and actually do lead generation. Right. Another big complaint was a lot of what I like to call the one-trick ponies, where they have a lot of one-size-fits-all approach to everything. So, and I think this is something that is a big problem in the coaching industry. You will see a lot of people that say, this is how I got 10, especially now with Reels. Like, Reels is a perfect example. You will see people, how I gained 10,000 new followers in 7 days, and then they'll tell you, oh, I posted Reels. And because they posted a reel a day for 7 days and then they got 10,000 followers, they feel like they can teach someone else, when just because something works for you, or even if you're able to duplicate that result for one person, doesn't mean that it's going to work for everybody, right? So you can't just have a one-size-fits-all approach to being able to do things. You have to be able to shift your coaching style and your process and the guidance and feedback that you're giving people based on where they are on their journey. And that's why I say there's a difference between coaching and you actually being able to get success for yourself. Like, in order to be a coach, you have to be able to adapt your coaching style and your coaching methods to meet your student where they are. All right. Oh, this was a big one. A lot of people complained about toxic, and y'all, I laugh throughout this, but it's just like sometimes you have to, like, when something's uncomfortable, I laugh to keep from crying, right? So when I'm laughing, I'm not doing it in like an antagonizing way or whatever. It's just like some of these things were just so like crazy and hard to believe. But a lot of people complained about toxic positivity, gaslighting, and power tripping. And I actually did a video on my channel like back this summer where I talked about gaslighting in the coaching space. And like when people don't get results in a program, coaches will actually blame the students. And it's like, oh, well, you must have a mindset issue, or well, you didn't do the work. When in fact, sometimes people take all the steps that you told them to do and it doesn't work just because it doesn't fit their business model or because it doesn't fit where they are on their journey. So a lot of people complained about toxic positivity where, instead of, if you have a problem, instead of someone actually being able to come to you and with a valid, logical response of how you can solve your problem and a solution to the problem, it was just kind of met with a lot of toxic positivity, where it's just like, well, you just need to focus harder, work harder, and you need to say your affirmations in the morning and everything works out. And I'm big on affirmations. Y'all know I love a good affirmation. And I love to decree and declare a thing, right? But that's not enough. You also need actionable steps in order to be able to move forward and move the needle. Some other responses was misleading, false, and vague advertisement. A lot of people felt like they were scammed or bamboozled because the way that the program or the course was actually marketed or advertised was not necessarily a true reflection of what the course or program actually was. Or maybe they felt like some of the testimonials were manipulated. So a lot of misleading advertisements are basically vague, where people don't really give you enough information about what the program or service actually entails. They focus more on just promoting the lifestyle and the results that you get, making more money, being able to travel the world, instead of actually telling you what the course or program is about and how it actually will help you. They just focused on selling a lifestyle. And next up was a lack of prudence, professionalism, and business acumen. So I'm not really going to get too much into this because I think that people are entitled to basically be able to run their program how they want to. But with that being said, you still have to have some level of professionalism. You need to value your students' time. Make sure you're showing up on time for your coaching calls and your sessions. Make sure you're delivering what you say you're going to deliver in the time frame you say you're going to deliver it, and just being professional, and having tact when it comes to running your business. Make sure you're responding to emails in a timely manner. Some of this should be common sense, but what is it that they say? Common sense ain't common. All right, so last but not least, and I already mentioned this, is just under gaslighting and toxic positivity, but the coaches blame students when they didn't get results. And it's well, if you didn't get results, then you didn't do something right. All right, so let's go to the next question. The next question that I asked was, how did that make you feel? When they gave their responses about their experiences in the programs and what they didn't like about it, I wanted to know how that made them feel in return. And this was very straightforward. Pretty much the responses were they felt alone, they felt abandoned, they felt like they were scammed, they felt like it wasn't personable. They felt like it was more of a transactional thing rather than actually being a real person. A lot of people focus more so on the money and just getting people in the program than actually helping people once they were in there. And then a few people said that they felt embarrassed and ashamed. And this was something that came up a lot. I had a lot of people that, direct messaged me on social media and were telling me about their experiences, but they didn't want to actually participate in the study because they were embarrassed, or they did feel ashamed because they had actually spent this money, you know, investing in these programs, and it didn't work out. And for some of them, they had family members or people who tried to talk them out of it and be like, oh, that's a waste of money, and like, it's too good to be true type of thing. So they felt bad and didn't really want to come forward to even say like, yeah, I invested this money and I didn't get the result that I wanted, because they felt ashamed and embarrassed. All right, so the next question that I asked was, what do you think was missing from the coaching programs and courses? And so this was pretty straightforward as well. Most of the responses was actual tips and strategies to succeed, help actually tackling roadblocks. So again, when you come with people who offer one size fits all strategies, it's like you only fit into their blocks, right? Their way to getting to the result is you do A, B, C, and D. But what if a person has a Z before the D? Like, then what happens? So a lot of people really wanted to have additional support for when things came up that didn't necessarily fit in the blocks of the program. And then something else people said was missing was step-by-step guidance, and then trust and authenticity. People felt like on the outside, before they had actually gave the coach or course creator money, that they felt like they were like all upbeat and positive and oh, this, and like, so just like the vibe was totally different from after they actually invested into the program and then started working with them. And it was more so like, oh hey, like, what's up, we here, we're gonna do this. But before that, it made it seem like it was like a very like friendly, family, fun type of thing. And then the vibe and the energy changed afterwards. And then again, something that people said was missing, I kind of already talked about under the first question, which came up a lot, which was access to the course coach or expert. All right, so the next question that I asked was, what did you like about the program or the course? And the good things that came out of this is a lot of people, almost everyone, said that they enjoyed the community. They were able to fellowship with other like-minded people. Some of them said they have met like lifelong friends that they still stay connected with, even though their experience in the program might not have been that great. They did meet a lot of great people through the program and make a lot of connections. And then something else that people liked was promos and visibility. So a lot of coaches had different ways for you to get visibility kind of like infused into their programs. So with one person, when you invest into the mastermind, you actually got to be featured on her podcast. So that was pretty cool. And then in some of the other communities, like they do spotlights where they highlight a different person, so you can come and talk about your business and kind of do like a show and tell type of thing. And then some groups also had promo days where you can actually promote your products and services, and then like people can basically buy from each other and other people that are also a part of the community. And then last but not least, when it comes to things that people liked, was the course platform. So specifically, people liked the layout when it came to Kajabi, when it came to Teachable, and using those professional course hosting platforms versus like if you just kind of have like a WordPress site and you add the course plugin on there, or if you have it to where like people pay for the course and then you just send them a link to a folder on your Google Drive and then they download the videos or whatever. Like people really enjoyed having access to the content through actual course hosting platforms. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, drop your questions below this video and I'll try to clarify what I can. All right, so the last question that I asked in all of the focus group sessions was, what would you like to see change in online coaching? Y'all, this list is bananas, but I actually agree with a lot of the feedback that is on here. So the first thing was regulated niches. So basically, a lot of people talked about how there's not basically any requirements or any type of qualifications in order for someone to start teaching or coaching online, and especially when it comes to things like health and wellness, right? This is something that if you're not a dietitian, you probably shouldn't be giving people advice on like how to prep for their meals or what they should include or exclude or whatever. So not really having those regulations in place makes for bad apples, right? If there's no type of regulations, then anybody and everybody can be a coach, and there's little to no barrier to entry, which is where you come up with the frauds. You come up with the people who are not necessarily qualified to teach what they're teaching, and which in return people don't get the results that they want. Something else that came up was better instructional design and structure. And this is something that really stuck out to me, and this is something that really helped me when it came to creating the structure for Kingdom Built, my business incubator, is because I was like, okay, so basically out of all these responses, what it kind of came down to me was like, when you think about the problems in the industry, it's number one, people being qualified to teach what they're teaching, and then people actually having the business skill and wisdom in order to structure their programs and services so that students actually get results. And then something else people wanted to see change was just more professionalism and better customer service. Coaches who put making money above ethics and their client results. So people were not really feeling a lot of income reporting. So people who use their how much money they made as their main selling point, people would rather see like how many clients have you helped, what type of results are your clients getting, right? And then manipulative sales and marketing tactics, people were not feeling that. A lot of people felt like slimy and like they were misled when they enrolled in the program. And then last but not least is manufactured hype created by friends and networks that's not real client results and testimonials. So this was a big one, and I didn't even realize this, but a lot of times what people will do, people will tell you in order to boost your credibility, you need social proof. And so what some people have done is they kind of build a network with their friends or their peers to where they actually provide misleading or false testimonials for each other, and so that they have that social proof to actually promote their programs and services and build trust, when in all actuality the person may or may not have actually taken their program or actually gotten results from it. So that was something that I thought was really interesting and misleading, deceitful. So if you're doing that, please stop. But yeah, that was pretty much the results from the focus group that I did. Let me know below this video, like, have you ever participated in an online course or coaching program that cost you a 4-figure investment? What was your experience? Did you get the results that you were promised? Were there things that you liked about it, things you didn't like? Let me know down in the comments below this video, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I'm telling you guys, ever since I conducted that focus group, it has not set right with my spirit that the coaching industry has become so problematic. So over the next few months, probably all through the new year, I'm going to be doing a lot more content just on how to be a better coach, how to be a better online course creator, so that you can get your clients better results, and so that you can actually, build your business in an ethical way, doing the right thing, but also focusing on your client as well and making sure they're getting the results that you're promising them. So if that is something that you want help with, then that is why Kingdom Built exists. The business incubator that I have, it is really designed to help coaches and course creators to basically build the infrastructure so that they can create better programs and services for their clients to get to their results in a more efficient way. But that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for stopping by my internet home. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And in the meantime, you can check out these 2 videos right here, or this playlist right here if you're really about that life, until I upload a brand new video next week.